Hey, I'm Coach Alex Henley, owner and head instructor at Insight BJJ, and this is a quick video to help you get started on the right foot in this jiu-jitsu journey of yours. In this video, we'll talk about some do's and don'ts that'll make sure we're all on the same page about hygiene, respect, etiquette, and general academy rules. The cardinal rule. Because our skin is in constant contact with the mats, we want to keep them as clean as possible. We go to great lengths to keep our mats clean with germicidal bleach solution every day. Unsanitary mats can be a breeding ground for various nasties like staph infection and ringworm. This means we want as little crossover as possible, so for that reason, we don't allow shoes on the mats. Not even for a second, not even just to pass by somebody with one step on the mats. It's just not allowed. Please just wait or politely ask them to let you by. And if you have visitors coming, like grandparents or other family, please warn them ahead of time about this rule. I will call them out across the room, but I don't really want to do that. Some folks take a laissez-faire attitude with this. Well, I'm only taking a step or two to get by. This not only works against our well-being, but in a place built on respect, this is not an approach we want our families to take. So the other side of that is that we always have to wear our shoes in the restroom. I can't stress this enough. This is not the most sanitary floor, as I'm sure you can imagine. We don't want to walk with our bare feet in the bathroom and then on the mats where our hands and our arms and our faces, etc., regularly come into contact. Also, please don't walk from your car to the academy barefoot. This is mostly an issue with kids, probably predominantly an issue with kids, but it defeats the purpose of our rules to keep the mats clean. So parents, please make sure your kids walk from the car to the academy with shoes on, and then they take them off for the mats, put them back on for the restroom. Hygiene. You have to wash your gi and your rash guards on a regular basis. For adults, this is going to mean daily. Absolutely has to be daily. Now for kids, it can be a little less often, maybe once a week, maybe a little bit more often if they stink or they sweat a lot. But once a week could be probably sufficient for most kids. Absolutely has to be daily for adults. This is more of a courtesy than a safety concern, but it really is pretty unpleasant to roll with somebody who has a stinky gi. Now, on more of a safety side, you have to keep your nails trimmed or covered up with tape. Too many cuts occur because of long or sharp finger or toenails, especially because of the skin nasties I talked about earlier. Open wounds are way more susceptible to infection. Now, also, please do your best not to show up with bad breath. I know this happens, but just try your hardest to be conscious of it, okay? We are always in close contact with others, more so than other parts of our day, so not having puppy breath is a pretty big deal. Please do your best to be courteous of those that are sharing the air around you. Respect. Okay, so here's another big one. As with all martial arts, showing respect is a pretty big part of what we do here. However, BJJ is considerably more laid back than most other traditional martial arts. For example, bowing on and off the mats is encouraged but not required. Also, I'm not called a sensei or a sifu, just coach or even just Alex if you'd like. However, there are some things you need to be respectful of, most of which are not even necessarily martial arts related, just being pleasant and common courtesy, everyday life stuff. For example, arriving on time and leaving when class is over. This means being on the mats with your gi on, belt tied, ready to go at class start time. Now, of course, we have our reasons why we might need to be late or leave early, and those are acceptable. This isn't a dictatorship. Just let the instructor know ahead of time if you need to arrive late or leave early. If you have the instructor's contact info, you can use that, or you can also send an email or message through Facebook. I can get the message to the other instructor if it's not me. And if this is a regular thing, like you can't arrive from work until 15 minutes after class start time, that's fine. Just let us know, and that can be a running thing. You don't have to let us know every time. It's a known issue, and we'll just work around that. We want you here. We want to work around your schedule as best we can. But rolling in kind of late just because, not really how things should work around here. Now, of course, we understand an occasional traffic was backed up. If you're running late every month or three, that's not a big deal. That happens. People run late sometimes. Not a big deal. We'll work with you. But please be respectful of our time and our schedule. Now, this part is for students and parents alike. Definitely, especially parents. Please clean up after yourselves and your kids. Check to make sure you have everything you came in with and that you haven't left any trash behind. We have several trash cans in the academy, one in the restroom, the shower, each changing room, and a large can by the counters. For example, if you have younger siblings who are eating snacks while big brother or sister does class, please make sure that all the crumbs, wrappers, and spills are cleaned up before you leave. Etiquette. Here's some good mat etiquette. We always shake the hands of our opponents after our matches. We don't usually call out higher belts to roll. We wait for them to call us out. I wouldn't quibble over that too much. If you're a two-stripe blue belt and you want to call out a three-stripe or a four-stripe blue belt, that's no big deal. If you're really close, you're a blue belt and you're really close to a friend who's a purple belt, you guys, that's fine. Do your own thing. That's fine. No sweat. But a general rule is you don't call out a higher belt. You wait for them to call you out. Very similarly, anywhere you go, if the instructor asks you to roll, you need to do that. You could be sitting down in front of the partner you had set aside already, but if the instructor says, "Hey, Bob, come roll with me," that's it. And there's no insult meant. Usually if I do that, it's only because I don't see that you're with a partner already. I don't wear my glasses and I'm also tired. So I just say, "Hey, Johnson, you wanna roll?" And hey, whatever. So that's it. It's usually, for me, there's never any hair on it. I just don't see that you have a partner already. If I see that, then no problem. I'll look for someone else. But if I don't, just go ahead and ask them to wait and roll next time, and this time you go with the instructor. Also, we have to keep drilling until the instructor tells us to stop. Too often, we see students drill a technique a few times and then stop and wait for the next thing. This just isn't the way good jiu-jitsu is made. As the saying goes, drillers make killers. I promise you can learn something new every time you drill a technique. Don't limit yourself by stopping before it's time. Also, in the same vein, please leave your cell phones off the mats during class. Take a break. Leave them over there. Give yourself an hour and a half break from this. There can be exceptions for that as well. If you have a kid home alone or somebody's sick, that's fine. Just say, "Hey, can I leave my phone on?" It's not even, you don't have to ask. Just say, "Hey, I'm leaving my phone on because blah, blah, blah." That's fine, no problem. But otherwise, please, no checking your phone during class. No text, no email, definitely no Facebook. But again, exceptions are made. That is as a student. As an instructor, you may see me walk around with my cell phone from time to time. I'm taking pictures for social media, or I'm taking notes of stuff that I want to remember next time. Very rarely do I answer it to respond to a text. Usually when I do, it's school related. But that's as an instructor. When I am at my instructor school, my cell phone stays put away the entire time, and I expect the same thing from the students here at this gym. These are things that you're going to have to, if you go train anywhere else, these are similar expectations you'll come across. So I want to make sure that you're getting the best instruction here, not only jiu-jitsu, but etiquette and expectations. Another mat etiquette issue is no bragging on the mats. This is absolutely mostly a problem for the kids. Most adults don't have this problem. Too often I hear a child brag about submitting their opponent with ease, or that their opponent isn't good enough to submit them, and this can be very hurtful, especially to a child. So what I tell the kids is you're more than welcome to brag all you want, but it has to be on the car ride home. It's not for the gym. Don't do it on the mats. Don't walk off to the chairs and do it. This is a brag-free zone. You can be proud of yourself, and there are other ways that you can talk positively about your game or your partner's game, but definitely bragging is not going to be an acceptable way to do it, and probably that will end up in push-ups for kids, because I like push-ups. And if we have a black belt on the mats, whether a resident black belt or a visiting black belt, you always make sure to find a stopping point and shake their hand. Now what this means is if they walk on the mats and they're in their civilian clothes, don't worry about it. Just keep doing your thing. But once they gi up and they have their belt and their gi on and they walk onto the mats, you make sure you make time within the next few seconds to a couple minutes to go over and shake their hand. If they are standing up, you stand up to shake their hand. If they are down on the ground, you get down on the ground and you shake their hand. This is probably as rigid as our etiquette gets, but these are expectations that you might find when you visit another school. And so it's good that you learn them here so you don't go somewhere else and get blindsided by it. Even if you go to a school and they don't care about this, I promise it will make you stand out. Very few people do this, and all of them should. So this is my gift to you, for you to think about these kinds of things when you're here, so that when you're visiting another school, you can make sure that you stand out in a good way to the leadership there.